Now that we've understood the basics and how to actually do a request and get the response, and secondly created our app, our Siri app, it's time to go a little bit deeper. One problem that we have with the current implementation is that it responds all in one batch. We're going to see how to make it stream so that the content comes as soon as it's ready from ChatGPT or from GPT. So let's get started. So let me show you what the problem is first. So I'm going to go here and write something like, let's say, a tweet about Egypt. And I'll click generate. And here I have to wait until the response occurs. And that's not the best user experience. It takes time and then it answers or adds that response. What I really want is to make it like how ChatGPT responds, which is, again, as soon as I write, it starts writing the content and shows us as it's writing. And this is using Stream APIs. So going back to the documentation side, so OpenAI documentation, we can find that they do talk about streaming as an option. So you can definitely check it from here. But also one great thing to look at is Hassan. He's one of Vercel's senior developer advocate at Vercel there. And he's created this Twitter bio, and he's created a lot of other open source projects that integrate OpenAI and other AI tools like RoomGPT, iCommit, Restore Photos, and Twitter Bio that have great examples of how to use it. Not only that, he's actually created a video to explain it and also a blog post about it. So again, I'd recommend for you to look at it. We're actually going to use some of that code directly in ours. So I'm just going to go to his pages here. And he's created this cool little utility on the side here that is called OpenAI Stream. So I'll copy that and go back to our lesson 2 and just paste it here. So again, and let me just walk you through what it does. He does a great job at explaining it in his blog, but this is ultimately just calling the again, the chat completions, but this time as a readable stream. So we're reading it as a readable stream so that we can respond back as soon as any part of the response comes back. So that's the first step, or the first change we need to do to get our new site working, or our new way of working occurring. The second thing, of course, is we need to change our generate. So generate before used to take the request body and then just create completion and respond back. We're going to change that a little bit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take again that request, and I'm taking it here as a request.json. I'm awaiting it. And then if there is no prompt, I'll respond with an error. If there is, I'll create an OpenAI Stream payload. So instead of creating that that completion that we did here, we're going to create that OpenAI Stream payload from our utilities class, and we're going to await an OpenAI stream, which creates a stream, and then we're going to respond back with that stream. So again, very minor changes you'll see in the code. We're just, instead of using that create completion, we're using this new OpenAI Stream module or class here to ultimately create a streaming version. The third thing we need to do is change our index.tsx. So I've created a new one called stream.tsx here. And what you'll see that changes, so my HTML here, or my Next.js content here, did not change. The only thing that did change is my generate results. Again, I'll prevent defaults. I'll set the loading to true, set results to empty. And this is important because we are now adding or appending to our current result. So it's important to empty it before each one, or else it's going to just append everything on top of each other if the user is sending multiple requests. Then I'm going to fetch the generate stream. Here I'm using just fetch instead of access to post. Just to show different options. So I'm using fetch, API generate stream, method post, header, I'm using application JSON, and of course I'm JSON.stringify to my prompt, which is the description that the user entered. And then if the response is okay, if it's not okay, I'll throw a new error and set loading to false. If it is okay, I'll take the response body, and if it's empty, I'll return. else I'll get a data reader, because again, this is a stream now, so I'm getting a reader for that stream. I'm creating a text decoder, and I'll do a while done. And this is going to continue reading the stream as long as there is something new. And while not done, ultimately, I'll read from the reader that I created from my data. I'll read, and then once done reading, I'll mark it as done. This is again coming from the reader.read, and I'll read the value and decode that value as a chunk value. And finally set the result as my previous result plus my new chunk value. And there you have it. That's all you need to change to make it stream. Now, this is a very simplistic case, again, because what we're streaming is just text. So there is no problem in streaming all the text at once. As you can see here, it's going to type in whatever I type, is going to just generate it straight away, one by one. That works really well with text. However, as we start going into more complex scenarios, let's say if we're returning a JSON object, or if we're returning something that maybe has HTML structure, these things won't work with this model of streaming. And we're going to look at how we can actually parse our chunks that are being returned from OpenAI before we return them back, and learn how to use that to stream data while getting it from the server as meaningful chunks rather than just whatever the OpenAI has to return, because at the end of the day, it's just returning text. It does not understand that it's JSON or HTML or other formats, so it doesn't return it in a meaningful way. We're going to learn how to do that. Okay, thank you for watching.